I'm one of those guys who loves to sit down and look through magazines devoted to home repair and home furnishings, home renovations, which was why I had such a good time when I was looking at a building last week, historic building that's being renovated into a private lodge in Cassia County. It's being done by Western Visions Inc. Western Visions Inc. has locations in Twin Falls and in Missoula and is expanding in this part of the Northwest. They do custom design and build. Well, I'll put it this way: they can do a residential remodel, additions, kitchen and bath, whole home redesign, and retrofit. Now, I had a friend tell me years ago, if you're building something new and you use LED lighting, he said within a few years you'll pay for the lighting. It might be a little pricier in the beginning, and he says that way down the road it'll probably pay for all of the renovations in the house too as well. They use a layout and floor plan creativity, and that involves you as well. And so once they talk to you, they get somewhat of an idea of what you'd like. They build out from that direction. Next generation lighting schemes, and that would be in many cases LED, project components and design element selections are the concepts used in Western Visions. Crush the average that you'd see that someone else is doing and place your project at the forefront of your community's renovation curve. Western Visions works with you hand in hand from first concept through the design build process to completion. So you're going to be giving a lot of input throughout the project. Western Visions delivers comprehensive in house structural, exterior, and interior design services, providing a level of service, attention to detail. I've got to really stress that attention to detail. I saw it. It's amazing what they're doing, and an understanding of your needs and desires that is second to none. And if you'd like to learn more, go to this website, Western visions.com. Once more, that's western-visions.com. We'll be hearing from them in studio in a couple of weeks, and a lot to talk about what they can do for you as well. 925, Bill Colley on Top Story on News Radio 1310 KLIX and newsradio1310.com. We're at 34. Talking a little bit about people who say I was born that way, I wanted to add this. The White House is infuriating the LGBTQ, RSTUVWXY, whatever community because the White House is going to be repealing President Obama's diktat to schools around the country that would allow people who think they're boys to use the boys' room if they're girls and vice versa. Bradford Richardson and Dave Boyer writing at Washington Times. The White House said Tuesday that President Trump views school district bathroom policies for transgender students as a states' rights issue in response to reports that the president will reverse the Obama White House's rule on such policies. Gay rights organizations say rescinding the order will harm transgender students. Here's a quote. Transgender young people face tragically high rates of discrimination and bullying, and they need a government that will stand up for them, not attack them. That came from Human Rights Campaign President Chad Griffin. Now, they call it the Human Rights Campaign. That's part of the marketing effort that goes on here in order that they can if they came out and said what they were, people might still recoil a bit from it, but they call themselves the Human Rights Campaign. And this whole thing has been a marketing campaign. I'm not here knocking people for who they are, but I'm telling you right now, it has been a public relations effort to change the American public's attitude. And again, we go back to how you used the same sort of lessons that you picked up reading George Orwell, reading his book 1984. And that gets implemented in how we do things in this country. And the American left and all of these other special interest groups out there who are part of that American left have been very, very adept at it. Now, when it comes to transgenderism, as I said earlier, we have to realize a lot of people who think that they are homosexuals were likely abused at some point in their lives. So don't go around beating on them. Don't go around calling them names. Try to understand that. However, it doesn't necessarily mean that they were born that way. And when it comes to transgenderism, I am so sick of these people who dress, well, my boy doesn't like to always play with his trucks, so we're going to buy him dolls and dress him as a girl. The parents who are doing that may be doing more harm to their children. I mean, this is the part that gets me. Again, if nobody is born that way, and increasingly we're seeing evidence that that's true, and no one wants to talk about it because it's politically incorrect, what are you doing to your children if you're going along with this notion that they were just gender dysphoria, whatever they call it. They were born in the wrong body. No, they weren't. And this is something that requires. I never believed in mental illness, but I've got to tell you, when I was younger, I remember reading some fellow who said there was no such thing. But the more I learn and the more I hear from these people who come from all of these subgroups in this country, we may be indeed dealing with people who are mentally ill and we should be helping them instead of just going along and saying, well, yeah, your mental illness is okay with me because I don't want to hurt your feelings. It's a little bit like saying to somebody, well, I see you're dying from cancer, but I'm not going to do anything about it because, well, I wouldn't want to offend you by, performing some surgery or chemotherapy. At what point do we put a little rationality back into this? There is no settled science here. And the left claims that they really respect science. But if there's no science backing it up, then why are we not allowed to talk about it? Bill Colley with you on Top Story on News Radio 1310 KLIX and newsradio1310.com. We're at 32. It's 9:30. I've got more coming up on the show today. I hope you can stick around. The United States right now has more available energy than at perhaps any other time in history. And liberals are trying to stop that, of course. I'm going to talk a little bit about that in the upcoming next half hour of the show. You're listening to Top Story.